have got a flat covenant place right there.
Timber. This is going to be the entry point from the driveway. It's going to go right up there. Burn, baby, burn. That's the way to operate right there. The ground's just too soft down there. If they put the post down in there, it's just going to settle, and that's not good. Back to the drawing board and figure out how we're going to deal with this situation. And look what in the world I just found. Rocky.
That's a pleasant sound.
Yeah, it's like fingernails on a chalkboard.
Pleasant smell too.
We've had quite a bit of rain, so we got to clean off the foundation up by the cinder block. A lot of mud, standing water, gravel. So all that's got to be cleaned up, cleared out of here, so we can put this perimeter drain in.
We don't have to use tape that way either.
Yeah, the sock's keeping it in there. It ain't gonna go anywhere.
The sock is keeping it in there.
So when we get to this corner, we're gonna cut the pipe,
Yep.
put in a 90.
We're going to cut the sock and everything.
Mud flip hitting you right in the eye.
Are you the Dirtinator?
The Dirtinator. Oh, that mud.
Okay. All right, then. And this keeps the sock from pulling out.
Gotcha.
Just lay that baby down like that.
And away we go.
If you got rocks around,
Uh-huh.
like that rock right there, that is a good rock just to put against that right there to hold it right against there. There you go. That's all there is to it.
Okay. property is starting to look pretty shaggy with down trees and overgrown grass and weeds. The wildlife loves it, but this guy don't. Time to whip this area into shape. If only I can get this silly chainsaw to start. Just got home from working late at the office. Looks good down there. Looks even better right there. If you remember, we put that pipe in underneath the footer before we poured the concrete for the footer. And that was for this. So I have a water spigot that I can have really close to the door, run a hose, wash vehicles, pressure wash, do whatever I need to do. Plus have running water inside the building so I can, rinse the floor off and have water for whatever I may be working on. So that is really exciting to see. So we have this bush here at the corner of our driveway. I don't know what it's called. Hibiscus, hydrangea, something bush. I don't know. Well, apparently my wife has had enough of me complaining about it. It was planted too close to the driveway. So it is kind of a hassle pulling in and out because we sideswiped the bush quite a bit. Now, I didn't say, can I cut that bush down, or I want to cut that bush down. All I said was, I'd like to be able to get out of there and not hit that bush or something like that. And my wife, my lovely wife, said, just go ahead and cut it down. Okay, I'm gonna do that right now before she changes her mind. Thank you for the permission, babe. I love you. There's a bird's nest with birds in it.
What do we do?
Well,
I knew there was a bird's nest. I just knew that there was a baby bird. Ew. It's ugly.
I'm assuming there was probably another bird in there.
Did it fall out?
It had to have when I was moving it.
Uh-oh.
I'm sure we'll find it on the ground.
That was unexpected.
Yeah, that was quite unexpected. I guess I'll see if I can find a baby brother. It was the last branch I just put on here.
I think it's just one.
There may just have been one, but usually birds have more than one egg.
I see him.
See him?
Back there. On the ground.
Oh, you are right.
3. There's 2.
Yeah, well, we found the birds. And we'll pick them up and put them in. Okay, bring them over this way.
Oh, he's got his mouth open. He yawned.
He's probably expecting food.
Maybe I could give him that inchworm.
Okay, let's see if I can get it to poop on me. There's one. He doesn't look very happy. There you go, fellers. I don't know where to put you or what to do with you.
Maybe I'll put him right there.
Yeah, I'll just put them on the ground right there, I guess.
In the shade.
And let Mama deal with you when she comes back to find you.
That's crazy.
We set the birds under the bush. Hopefully Mama will see the birds and deal with them accordingly. These poor guys. I was gonna cut this whole thing down, but I guess I'm gonna wait.
Yeah.
They went for a ride, didn't they? They were in the nest, everything was peachy keen. Next thing you know, they're on the ground. Bird comes back. Mom, you're never gonna believe what happened to us.
Why's my nest on the ground?
Got the hole all filled in. We'll pour concrete all the way up to around this bucket. Leave that gravel there so if we ever have to service this line, then all we got to do is dig up the gravel. So we're going to be pouring 5 inches of concrete before we know it. Here's our wire mesh for the concrete floor. Here's my stinky dog. Picked up the form boards, some 2x6s, so we can form the front part of the garage and the doorway for the concrete that's coming. The plot's looking really nice. We're going to be pouring concrete before we know it. Terry spent a lot of his time last week prepping the garage for this point now. I really appreciate his help doing that while I was at work. We've got more gravel to put on the inside of the garage, and we've got some plastic to put down, and we're going to be ready for concrete to come hopefully next week, Lord willing. And then later on today, I'm probably going to cut down a few trees that are in the way. So we've got a lot on our plate for today, so let's get started. I also forgot to mention that we're going to be marking the floor where we're going to be digging a little bit deeper to put some thicker concrete for the lift that I plan on purchasing at some point in my life to put in this garage. Oh, pipe down. We just ran a line across 3 different marks and took measurements, taking out some high spots, leveling out the low spots, and try to get 5-inch readings all the way across this thing on the chalk lines that we put on the inside of the cinder. Ready to dip the stone out of there. We were just a little bit off with our first measurement, so we're going with this line right here. So the post of the lift will be centered right there on those spots right there and there. We're going to put a 3-foot hole right there, about 8 to 10 inches deep. That should be enough for the lift. The lift manufacturer says 5 inches of concrete, which is what we're doing. 5 inches all the way across. But we want to go a little deeper just to be on the safer side. right, well, we got that knocked out in about 2 hours, and it is looking fan-stinking-tastic. Got all the plastic and wire down, and the forms are in. We don't have this form fully installed because the concrete truck's going to have to pull in here to be able to shoot that far corner, because there's no way for it to get around the side of this thing. So we'll pull that out, let the concrete truck go in, fill that in with concrete. It'll back out, we'll put that in, get it secured, and then finish the concrete. And good grief, this thing is going to be poured in hopefully a week, maybe 2 weeks, depending on the schedule. My father-in-law's been in touch with the concrete guy already, and it's looking like potentially 1 week from today. Depending on the weather, it could be 2 weeks, but how exciting would that be if they can do this next week? And once this is poured, then this thing starts getting framed and built, and we'll be looking at a finished garage. As far as like the garage itself, we'll still have to do electrical and water lines and all that stuff. So I am pumped. I cannot believe how quickly this is moving after it taking so long the last year and a half. Hopefully in about a month, this thing could be done. That's kind of mind-boggling right there. Love the sound of it though. Since we're done doing the garage stuff, I'm gonna have to cut some trees down now. This one right here for sure has to come down because the grade is gonna be up against the base of the tree. My father-in-law says that these hickory trees here should be fine. All this dirt gets pushed and kind of graded down through here. It's definitely gonna hit this tree. He's saying it's gonna miss these 2 trees. So it looks like these are probably going to stay, I guess, but we're gonna go ahead and get this one down for sure, and then I'm gonna work on possibly getting those other 3 down. So let's get started. My little friends are doing good. Put a little grass on top, give them some shade. Poor little fellas. Mom's been around. She's been flying around, chirping. We've seen her a few times already this morning. All right, well, you saw my father-in-law grade the dirt on the backside and sides of the garage plot and dug out quite a bit of dirt and put it on the other side of the driveway where we're needing to fill. Tonight we've got to re-chalk the inside of the block when we were doing the grade on the floor. That chalk has washed off or whatever. Do a few things to be prepping for concrete that comes tomorrow. The concrete guy came out earlier this afternoon, walked over the plot with my father-in-law, got some measurements. So we are one step closer to getting this garage built. So we've got a few things to do tonight to prep for tomorrow morning. So the main reason why I cut down those extra trees down here at the base of the hill was because we're going to be running electrical from the utility pole all the way here to the middle of the garage. And so I wanted to have that nice and clean and easy for the electric company to be able to do their trench and get it up here to the garage plot. That came today and did their measurements and gave us an estimate. So with that checked off the list, we're now on their schedule. That could be 6 weeks before they get out here. Who knows? But the legwork has been done today. So whenever they get here, I guess. All right, so we're ready for concrete tomorrow morning. We decided to go ahead and form this one up, leave this one open. It was the other way around. Concrete guy said he wants to come in on this side and not mess with it on this side. He's afraid he's gonna get into the soft ground over here, roll the truck. I don't blame him. Got the chalk line put on. Everything else is ready to go. Concrete shows up about 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. And this is the face of one happy Dan. See you in the morning. All right, well guys, it is concrete day. They've already started just a little bit of the pour. Second truck has showed up. And I'll explain that in here in just a second, but unfortunately I'm not gonna be around today to watch this process and record it. I've got my son helping out and I've got the time-lapse camera and that's about the best I can do. I gotta take my wife to a specialist doctor out of town and we'll be back later today. We should have a finished poured concrete floor. Looking forward to that. Let's get to it. The first concrete truck arrived to pour the remainder of the mix that was left over from my brother-in-law's sidewalk project that he was working on. There was enough left on the truck to fill in our holes for the 2-post lift, and then some. It wasn't long after the second truck arrived. We needed to run the water hose to that truck to add some water to the mix. Once it was mixed to perfection, it was time to pour. So they got it sealed up pretty good. All those water beads. You wanna walk on it? Go for it.
These water beads are cool.
Mm-hmm. You're the first person on the new road.
I thought it walks pretty smooth.
Walks pretty smooth. I bet the roads on the moon ain't this smooth. Boy, it's like glass, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's sunlight reflecting off. It's pretty bright.
Yeah.
It's amazing how slick they can get this concrete. I mean, it is slick.
Look how the water's moving this
Yeah.
direction.
It's got that 2-inch slope.
Yeah. I can smell the chemical.
So yeah, the wife and I just got home from our out-of-town doctor visit, and I am impressed with just how slick and glossy this concrete looks. I really wasn't expecting this. I don't know what I was expecting, but wow, this thing has got a shine. We had a pretty big rainstorm come through. Thankfully, the concrete was already sealed. But look how it beads up the water. Looks like a piece of artwork, doesn't it? So I couldn't be more happy with how this turned out. Tyler and his crew did a fantastic job. Thank you, guys. Yeah, they'll be back tomorrow. They're going to cut the, whatever they call that, where they basically try to control where the concrete's going to crack. There are only a few things that are guarantees in life. They say death and taxes, and concrete's going to crack. So that wraps up the work for today. Tomorrow it'll be completely done, and we'll get a hold of our contractor and say, hey, come at your earliest convenience and let's build this garage. One step closer, fellas. One step closer. Well, howdy.
So bright.
That's probably because the sun's in your eyes. All right, we're out here today. We're gonna clean off the dust from the saw joints that were put into the concrete. So they're calling for chances of rain in the next couple of days. I don't want this dust to be on top of the concrete because once it gets wet, it'll kind of harden and it'll make the floor really rough. So I wanna get this off. So we're gonna time lapse this job. So if my shirt is any indication to you of how hot and sticky it is today, it's a good indication. It's hot. Let's get to work. these control joints that we had sawed, typically I would have gone just 2 cuts. But the plan has always been to put a lift in here. So in preparation for that, the post of the lift would be right here and the other one would be right in here. And you're not supposed to have a control joint underneath one of the posts of the lift. So I couldn't just cut it in quarters. We did kind of a checkerboard and made it into 9 squares. A little unconventional, but that's what we had to do given the space we had and the location of the 2-post lift. So we're at the point, we're ready to build. We're gonna try to get a hold of the contractor today and see what his schedule might be. We're hoping that they can be here within the next week or 2. We'll see. Until then, it is construction day. Construction day, take 2. So glad to see that pile move.